This is one of the webinars that we are doing in a series of webinars. This is, I think, our 5th webinar that we are doing for the Lodha Genius Program. So I'll first sort of take you through what the webinar will be about today, the format, and the people here with us. I am Manvendra. I handle the outreach of the Lodha Genius Program. With me today, we have Diya, Shrishti, who are our program interns, who will also represent AUWS, which is Ashoka University for Women in STEM, who will be taking us through the academic or non-academic curriculum for the Lodha Genius Program, as well as telling us about the STEM experience at LGP. And with us, we also have Urvashi and Kishore from our team, who will be handling all your questions and answers in the chat box. So throughout the webinar, you have the choice to send in your questions in the Q&A box that you can see at the bottom of your screen. So please feel free to ask any questions related to the webinar or anything in general about the program. And so we'll answer your questions throughout the webinar. At the end also, we'll answer your queries. You can raise your hand towards the end and we can unmute you and you can answer your questions. So about this webinar will first take you through a small introduction of the program, and then we'll move towards the non-academic curriculum, which will be presented by both Diya and Shrishti. So that's about the webinar. Now I'll start presenting and I'll take you through the introduction of the Lodha Genius Program. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. All right. So as you can see, this is these pictures, the collage that we have made is from the last cohort of the Lodha Genius Program, the 2023 cohort. And we had, faculties coming in from around the world for this program. So I know you might be already aware of what Lodha Genius Program is about, but just to start from the very basics, it's a collaborative initiative between the Lodha Group and Ashoka University. Lodha Group are our sponsors and we are delivering, Ashoka University is delivering the entire program. So the program is a fully funded one. So you don't have to pay for anything. And it comprises of 1 month residential component, which is between mid-May to mid-June. And then we have a long, virtual mentorship that takes place throughout the year. So it is divided into these two components, one residential program and then a virtual mentorship that goes throughout the year. So, and this program is open for students from 9th to 12th grades. So basically, if you're applying this year, then you can be in 8th standard. You are still eligible to apply for the program. But if you're in 12th right now, you might not be eligible because, of course, you'll pass out next year. So it is only for students from 9th to 12th grade. So, and the crux and the main aim of this program is to focus on hands-on learning, which is experiential learning. You get to do stuff, which is the reason that makes this program very different and one of the only programs that does this in the country. We believe in hands-on learning, experiential learning, which is slightly different from the traditional ways of learning. And this program is mainly centered around maths and science, but we are also trying to make it, extended beyond that discipline as well. We work at the intersections of various disciplines. So it's just not math, it's just not science. We work at the intersections of various disciplines. And apart from that, as I already told you, it is fully funded. So you don't have to pay for anything. Your boarding, lodging, travel, etc. is fully taken care of. There's no application fees that way. So there are no hidden costs. You don't have to worry about anything. And if we talk about the faculties, we have around 30 plus faculties coming from around the world who are industry experts, and these were the people who were delivering the program for us. So moving on. This is the last cohort, which is around 100 students coming from across India. This photo is taken at our campus in front of the library. For the next cohort, which I'm sure many of you will be applying for, which is the 2024 cohort. These are the dates for that residential program, which is from May 17th till June 16, 2024. So please note down these dates because your availability will be of prior importance because you need to plan out things accordingly. So these are the dates for the residential program for 2024. So this is the cohort breakup for the 2024 cohort. As you might already know, this is a loop-in program. So what do we mean by loop-in? Is that if you're selected, say, in 2023, you have the choice to come back next year as well. So we have certain intake of students who were already part of the program can come back next year. So we have 50 around seats for people who were already in 2023. They can come back in 2024. And now we are expanding next year. We are taking in 130 more students. All right. So the total intake for the 2024 cohort is 180. So for easier, visualization, this is the breakup. Ninth grade, 60 student, 10th grade, 60, and then for 30 each for 11th to 12th, and total 180 is the strength. Coming to the components of the program, the first and the most loved component was the Great Ideas Seminar, which is a series of seminars that takes place throughout the residential program. It is spanned like across the 1 month time. So so what I can tell you is about the 2023 program, where we have around 16 Great Ideas Seminar, where we have scientists, researchers, mathematicians, industry experts coming in from diverse backgrounds and interacting with students. So these are not lectures or just seminars where people just speak. There's a lot of engagement that takes place after the seminars are done, or also while the seminars are going on. Those are very interactive sessions. So as you can see, we had Rohini Devashir, who was an astronomer, contemporary artist. There was a very famous mathematician with us, Chandrasekhar Khare. There was Dr. Yamuna Krishnan and Manoj Mathew from science. And these are just 4 people that you can see, but we had, as I had already mentioned, 30 plus, people coming in from around the world. We had a Nobel laureate with us and many other, prize winners from around the world. So these are the people who basically train the kids, who talk to the kids, who are there with the kids throughout the 1 month program. So now coming to the specifics. So as I mentioned, that the program is centered around maths and science. So let's talk about maths first. So now for 2024, we have branched out mathematics. So one is an elective, mathematics problem solving elective, which is a sort of specialization. If you are somebody who's interested in Olympiad level trainings, so we give you that choice to get into that path. But on the other hand, we also have maths for all, which is basically making maths fun, making maths accessible to all, so that you get to know what are the ways to do maths in daily life, for example. So a lot of conceptual learning takes place. So you have these 2 tracks to choose from, and within a week's time you will be given that choice. If you want to do Olympiad level training with Olympiad level trainers coming from around the world, or you would prefer to choose mathematics for all. So this is mathematics. Then for science, we have varied number of tracks available. So you also have the choice to choose between tracks. In the last cohort, we had limited number of tracks, but now we are expanding. We have almost around 10 to 12 number of tracks that you can choose from, life sciences to ecology to AI and robotics. There's art and astronomy. As I already mentioned, that we don't just work like very discipline specific. We also try to be interdisciplinary in what we do. So there's AI and astronomy, art and astronomy, AI and robotics, there's industrial design, and all of these tracks You get to make that choice. What would you like to do? And then at the end of throughout the time of your program, the residential program, you get to do projects in these particular tracks. So again, you have the choice what you like to do. Apart from the maths and science, we also have, very interdisciplinary workshops throughout the 1 month, duration. There's science and communication workshop. There's Foldscope, which was one of the most famous, workshops in the last cohort, where you assemble your these Foldscopes are basically paper microscopes, which you build up. You get to see them, collect samples, observe things, and then you can take them back. So this was one of the most famous workshops last season, done by Dr. Manu Prakash from Stanford. And then there's telescope building, again, which is building up telescopes. You can get to take those telescope back with you. There's art and science workshop. There's learning science through theater. So parallelly, you get to do a lot of stuff, which is not just very discipline specific. You get to do stuff through a lot of other engagement as well, through workshops, small workshops, which are very interactive and innovative in how they are designed. So that's another part of the Lodha Genius program. So coming back to the division, so now this time we are sort of having two division between 9 to 10th grades and 11 to 12th. So 9 to 10th is what we are calling is the junior category. 11 to 12th is the senior category. So 9 to 10th will get to do foundational maths and science. There will be problem solving, of course, experimental maths. There will be a lot of learning about how to logically argument. There will be multidisciplinary science, short-term workshops, as I just told you. And of course, there will be demos and lectures. So it will be a mix of things that you will be doing. On the other hand, the 11th and 12th category, which is called the senior category. And now the senior category will have the choice to make between maths and science. So you get to specialize and you get to choose which one you would like to do. And then you will have Olympiad trainings, Olympiad level trainers that I had already mentioned. And you'll get to train on computational and lab skills. And there will be, of course, application-based mathematics if you'd like to choose that. And all of this will be under the framework of a credit-based system. So you, at the end of the program, you'll have to finish certain credits, and it will be divided according to the specific of the module that you're doing, so that you're not doing all heavy modules or all lighter modules. So there's a mix of everything. So you get to choose what you would like to do out of everything, and then you finish a set of credits at the end of the program. So that's how it is divided. And another component is we just don't want you to stay within the campus and learn, because there's a lot of learning that might take place outside as well. When, say, you are in nature, you're in a field trip. So another, concept that we are bringing in, which we had last time, and next time, in the coming cohort, we are expanding. We are like planning more trips outside, like in science museum, more field trips for astronomy, etc., where learning takes place in the field that way. So you get to learn through experience, through observing things. This was the last time we had the Foldscope workshops. People were collecting samples, and this was guided by Professor Manu Prakash as well. He's there in the picture. And as you might be already aware, Ashoka University has a stellar campus infrastructure and an immense, like a plethora of sports facilities available that you can, of course, choose from. And you'll be, if the student is selected for the program, they have the entire choice to choose whatever sport they would like to play, or any other facilities available on the campus as well, as you might have already heard from the previous webinar if you were there. So that way you just are not focused on just study. There's a holistic development that takes place. There's confidence building, there's teamwork that takes place. And you get to decide a lot of activities. You get to take, leadership. You get to decide events, activities that you'd like to do. So these are some of the snapshots where students get to decide what they like to do. They take initiatives, etc., and you're free to do so. So in this way, you get to build your confidence, etc., while you are learning academically as well. So for 2023 cohort, which we just had, they would now, of course, come back, as I told you, since it's a loop-in program. So now they will have a choice to choose science or maths. So whether they would like to pursue a project in science or whether they would like to choose a project in maths. And these, we are calling them as capstone projects. And throughout their time, 1 month time in the university, they would get to choose whatever. And those projects will be done throughout this duration. So another component, as I mentioned in the beginning, is the Light Touch, which is the online virtual mentorship program that takes place. So one component is the residential program. The other is the 10-month-long Light Touch module, which is online. All right. So these are the dates for the next, Light Touch program, September 2024 to April 2025. As we are speaking, the Light Touch module for the current cohort is still running. So as the name suggests, it is lighter engagement. It's not very heavy duty that you can't focus on your school studies or the other activities that you do. It's a lighter engagement, but it sort of continues what you've been learning at the residential program. So it sort of takes you from there, continues your, learning, and you can sort of interact with all your peers, the faculties who will be part of the Light Touch program. So so our Light Touch program is also expanding for next year, where we are planning a lot of new activities as well, and new workshops as well. So of course there will be holistic academic module and remote mentorship, but we are also sort of planning to have school events in various cities where students come from. We are also planning to maybe have winter workshops in selected cities for selected students, and there will be internships for deserving students. If we see that you're passionate enough, we would have we could send you through internships through our network as well, if you're passionate enough that way. And there will be other, if you're passionate as well, and we can also send you to workshops or summer programs internationally as well. So this is a plan for the Light Touch module. So so this is what we are planning for the next year. So this was a sort of, a concise whole of the program that we are planning for 2024. So this was more on the academic side. Now I would request Srishti and Dia to take us through the non-academic curriculum and the STEM experience at the Lodha Genius Program. And after they finish, we can take your questions as well. Over to you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I think I'm going to quickly delve into an introduction of AWS before talking about both Dia and I. Um, right. So traditionally the undergraduate student population has also always been in favor of women at Ashoka University, which is quite rare for any college campus in the country. But even then, the proportion of women students in science classrooms has always been low. And this numbers problem is really far from being unique because all premier institutes of science in the country fared far worse than this. But at Ashoka, we have this unique chance to sort of look beyond the numbers and into reasons that take birth solely during the undergraduate timeline. And one finds that joining the university as a woman with a declared science major is really common, but remaining one is not. And mentorship was a gaping hole, which was most vividly supported by the gender split in the science faculty as well. Most importantly, what Ashoka has to offer is a chance to avoid resorting to retrospectively tweak these structures and to course correct in real time as we build this university further. And this was a real chance for Ashoka to be a role model for all other science institutes in the country. And keeping this in mind, at the start of this year, the Women in Computing Society at Ashoka, which is an academic society run by students at Ashoka, along with some alum, had launched an Ashoka University Women in STEM AUWS mentorship program. And we've run a pilot program successfully. We're glad to announce, and we're progressing towards our first official iteration. With this, AUWS now wanted to tap into the grassroots of this larger gender problem in science. And the Lodha Genius Program, being a merit-based program, it offers this unique opportunity to interact with the brightest minds of the country across varied backgrounds. And keeping this in mind, AUWS is now working with LGP to help students unlock the full STEM experience at Ashoka and to cultivate a very strong non-academic curriculum in combination with the already established academic curriculum. So Dia and I are from the original founding team of AUWS. So with that, I'll just introduce myself. Really nice to meet everyone over here. I'm Shrishti. I'm a fourth year student at Ashoka. I'm currently finishing an advanced major in computer science and a minor in psychology. And I hail from Calcutta, and it's nice to meet you. Dia, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Dia. I'm a second year computer science major at Ashoka University. As Shishti said, I am also part of AUWS and a program intern for Lodha Genius Program. And I'm very excited to show you all the collaborations we've been working for right now. So with that, let's delve into the collaborations. So I think the aim of all the collaborations that we're planning to do is just make this program as holistic as possible. As Manvendra also mentioned, it's a very interdisciplinary program. Even though it is based in STEM, we're trying to make it as well-rounded as we can. So, keeping that in mind, the first collaboration that we planned on is with the Center of Writing and Communication. So, CWC is, it works closely with the academic society community at Ashoka. And it helps develop critical thinking, writing, and communication skills. It's the largest center at Ashoka, and it works with all the diverse sections that make the Ashoka community. So, like the entire student body, the that includes the undergraduates and the master's students, the YIFs as well, then the professors and the staff. So this is possible by the diversity of the CWC team, and now they'll also be helping us with the Lodha Genius Program. So, to give you some context, what we learned from the previous cohort is that the cohort is usually quite diverse, which means not everyone has the same level of proficiency in English, which is the main medium of teaching in the program. So our objectives with the bridge program that we're planning with CWC were quite simple. One was to just strengthen the foundational language skills, and in order to develop communication skills for effective participation in class, and also to enhance the ability of students to articulate thoughts and ideas confidently. So essentially, we just don't want the language barrier to be a hindrance for the scholars in any way, shape, or form, like be it in the academic spaces or the non-academic ones where they're interacting with their peers. So the key components of this collaboration is it's twofold. One is the language enrichment module, which will happen for students who voluntarily choose to do so. If a student feels that they don't have, um, you know, a certain level of proficiency in English, they can opt in for this module. So these are online sessions that will start a month before the program, and they'll be taken by the people at CWC, and they'll have tailored content to address specific language challenges. So the CWC team is very aware of the context of this program, so they'll keep that in mind and tailor everything to that. So for instance, they'll be focusing more on the communication part of um, the process rather than the writing part. Um, and the second thing is that we're planning to have general workshops, which will help the students, enhance their critical thinking skills and also help them in writing articles. So whatever knowledge that they gain during the program or just in general in STEM, they'll find a way to be able to translate it into writing, because that's often quite hard. So for that as well, we're planning on having workshops which give practical guidance on crafting, well-reasoned arguments and compelling narratives. Um, so the benefits, of course, would be that there would be improved communication skills, which will help them in classroom engagement and also in just grasping STEM concepts in general. It'll also help build their confidence through interactive learning experiences, and they'll be able to interact with more amount of peers, and since language barrier would not be an issue, and it'll also of course help them in general by nurturing them into well-rounded individuals, and it'll equip them with the tools that they require for success in a globalized world. The next collaboration is actually with the Center for Studies in Gender and Sexuality. This is a one of a kind center. I think it's the first center in India which deals with both these topics together. It facilitates student-led initiatives such as reading groups, film screenings, awareness drives, and workshops. And many of these are organized in collaboration with work study students, volunteers, and interns who engage with the center. So as Shrishti mentioned, being a woman in STEM is not as popular as we would like it to be. There are a lot of issues that are, systematic issues that are still faced by women in STEM to this day, and this is just the LGBT's way of trying to attack it at a grassroots level. So the objectives of this collaboration are quite clear. One is to promote inclusivity in STEM by just making people aware of the issues that take place, like just make, because this is something which isn't talked about enough in our actual like classroom textbooks. So, talking about it now in this program will actually help people realize and understand the gravity of the situation. And second, it helps explore gender dynamics in STEM. Now, this is something which even like works academically, because there are a lot of things in gender studies which are very closely related to science, and it's a separate uh it's a separate subject in itself. So that's something that they'll get to explore as well. And of course, thinking of such a nuanced issue and such a nuanced topic will help develop critical thinking skills of the scholars. So for this collaboration, we're thinking of doing 4 modules. These modules won't just be lecture based. They'll have fun and interactive activities to engage the attendees. We're aware of the age of the students who are coming into this program. So each module will be tailored to that specific demographic, and it won't be too text heavy, and it won't be too much for the young minds to grasp. So some topics would be like, is gender studies a scientific discipline, where you go into different STEM analogies and see if they do have like aspects of gender studies in them, and where can science reconfigure with the social. So these are just some of the module topics that we are thinking of. The benefits, of course, would be a holistic understanding. This is something which I think sets Lodha apart from the other STEM programs as well. One of the many things, again, going into a holistic way of learning, empowerment. Like I think when women in STEM come into this and they see themselves being represented and being talked about, then it'll definitely empower them to keep going on the path that they're on. And of course, inclusivity.
Right. So the next collaboration that we're working on is with the Office of Learning Support, or OLS, at Ashoka. OLS at Ashoka was set up in 2016, challenging the status quo in higher education for inclusion of students with invisible disabilities such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, and other specific learning disabilities. Since then, the office has expanded its support to other disabilities as well. Over the last few years, it supported students with visual impairment, hearing impairment, autism, cerebral palsy, along with various specific learning disabilities. And the office it acts as a central resource center on any specific needs related information and services for the university. And it also promotes a collaborative approach to implement inclusive practices at Ashoka. Keeping this in mind, LGP will be collaborating with OLS this year, and the objectives behind the collaboration are twofold. The first is to help students cope. We understand that a lot of these students are from younger grades like classes 9 and 10, and for a lot of them, this might be their first time away from home. So they will face personal concerns like homesickness, anxiety, and of course, there might be other emergency situations that arise. So keeping this in mind, OLS will be helping students cope with such concerns. And secondly, we also understand that coming from school, it might be hard to cope in a university environment. And OLS will then help students understand what skills to build to succeed at Ashoka. So the key components of the collaboration with OLS, it'll include 3 workshops. The first workshop will be for students. It'll be around 2 hours. It'll be extremely activity oriented to ensure active engagement between all the peers. There'll be several things that will be covered in this workshop. So firstly, we'll help students identify their learning styles. I think it's very important to recognize that students learn differently. And it's extremely important to also identify what learning style works for you the best in order to succeed in a highly competitive environment at the university level. The next thing would be to understand self-advocacy, which is asking for what you need, how and why, knowing that's okay. And lastly, to understand how to access the university resources to make the best of your time at Ashoka. The second workshop would be for TAs. As part of the TA training program, OLS will be helping students, the student TAs from Ashoka, understand how to handle student concerns, because TAs will be the main point of contact for all students. And lastly, a sensitization workshop for faculty as well, for them to understand how to make their learning material more accessible to students with invisible learning disabilities. The benefits of this collaboration would be, I think they're quite evident. First would be to encourage a smooth transition for students from the school to the university environment. The next would be more enhanced TA support, because TAs will now be more equipped to handle concerns that students might face in case the office is unavailable, or in case something extremely end moment, or some emergency arises. And lastly, also to take on a multilingual approach, because the workshops will be conducted in both Hindi and English. We understand that students come from very socioeconomic backgrounds, and we want them to have the best experience at Ashoka. So sort of in line with the bridge program that Dia spoke about, OLS will also be taking a multilingual approach. Right. We now move on to volunteer activities. A huge part of Ashoka is to know how to contribute to the community in some way. It's part of the Ashokan experience, because we want students to have a strong academic backing after the program, but we also want them to understand how to give back to the community. And considering how important this is as part of the Ashokan culture, we wanted to incorporate this as part of the Lodha program experience as well. So again, the objectives of the collaboration would be firstly to engage students in meaningful service, STEM for impact, so to say, and to also instill this need in them to give back to society whatever they're learning. So the key components for this, although yet to be ironed out completely, would be twofold. Firstly, to hold activities that require students to engage with the community around them. Talking specifically in the Ashokan context. So Ashoka is close to Asawarpur, which is a village in Haryana, and a lot of clubs and societies at the undergraduate level work very closely with this community within Asawarpur. So we have clubs like NEEV, that teach the younger children going to schools in Asawarpur. We have Ruhi, which teaches the workers from Asawarpur at Ashoka. And we also have Positive, which feeds the stray dogs around the campus. So, and it is these clubs and societies that also they collaborate with multiple organizations and communities within the university and outside for diverse learning opportunities for these underrepresented communities. And as part of the Lodha program this year, we'll also be having activities akin to those for the students, again, involving students in meaningful activities to give back to society. The last center for the day is the Ashoka Center for Wellbeing, or ACWB. So established again in 2016, ACWB is a non-aligned center that offers counseling and psychological support for students, for staff, and for faculty at Ashoka University. The objective behind the establishment of the center was to provide a safe space that offers free and confidential individual and group counseling support. ACWB is also the only center of its kind in the entire country, with a focus on capacity building at every level of an organization. So we collaborated with ACWB last year as well, where essentially ACWB held workshops on time management and on exam stress. We also had multiple counselors that were available for one-on-one sessions with the students, to help them with any personal concerns that might arise. So we will be continuing with that collaboration this year as well. And we hope that all of these resources do prove to be useful to the students and help them unlock the full STEM experience, the full experience of being at Ashoka at the university level. With this, we come to an end of our presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope this was helpful. And I think we can take questions now.
Thank you so much, Shrishti Dia. Yeah, we've been answering all of your questions like simultaneously, but if you have more questions, we'll be happy to answer as well. And yeah. So if you would like to also maybe talk and ask, we can also unmute you. For that, you'll have to raise your hand. Okay. There are a lot of hands coming in. Okay. Could we please unmute Varnika? Hi, Urvashi Kishore, could you please
One second. Yeah, second.
yeah,
You can
Urvashi.
also unmute them.
I don't think so. I have that right. No.
One
Yeah, Varnika, you can speak now.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, hi.
So, thank you. This sounds like a very fantastic program and great opportunity for students. I just wanted to understand. I'm a little bit confused on these centers that Shrishti and Diya spoke about. Are these programs? So, the students who will be attending the Lodha Genius Program, will they be attending these sessions at while they are in that 1 month program? Or who's going to do this?
Yeah, of course. These are planned for students. So our idea is with the academics, with the maths and science projects that they are doing. So these workshops will be interspersed through the entire month. So it is all for the student. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All
Thank you.
right. Okay. Could we please unmute Sachin? M. Sachin.
second.
Yeah, you can speak, Sachin.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon.
Hi,
This is
hi.
mother of Sachin. Sorry, he is at school attending, so I thought I can have an idea and tell him more about this. And
Right.
very nice of you guys for explaining so neatly. I just have a doubt, like while uploading the mark sheets, he is presently into 8th class, 8th standard, and still we have not completed our academic session. So
Right.
once he will be into ninth, as you said, he'll be into ninth by May, March end. We are in
Right.
Karnataka, so by
Yeah,
March end the school will be over. So by
yeah.
that time, I think he'll be eligible. So
Right.
presently, I have uploaded the 7th and 8th midterm mark sheets. Is it okay for the
Yeah, yeah.
eligibility, or
Of course, that works for us. Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
No
that's
need of because they have asked 2 mark sheets in the application, but whatever I have, 7th standard and 8th I have uploaded. Is that okay, or
yeah,
should I
yeah,
have?
completely fine. That's all right.
And one more question is, will the Ashoka University send any mail to the principal? Because we start the school, these people start the school here by end of May, 21st somewhere, and
Mhm.
we need to have 1 month off from the school.
Right.
So they give a letter from Ashoka to the principal
Yes.
like that, or should we directly go in?
Yeah, yeah, no. So many, like last time also, it happened that many students had to miss their school to join the program. So, yeah, the principal can, or we can send a letter to the principal, or vice versa, and there can be a communication, and we can, yeah, send a letter that says that the student is selected for the program and that they may be allowed to attend it, and the principal can sign it, and yeah, that's all right. That can be done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Looking for work, my son to work with you all people so that he gets a good exposure, like
Yeah.
how you people have. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
let's hope for the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, then we have Sarita next. Yeah, Sarita, you can speak. Sarita, you may unmute yourself. Okay. I think they are not there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
So my daughter has this exam on 8th, which is a school exam. So the entrance exam, logical reasoning test that you have scheduled on that date, is it like open for some hours, or it is like a
Yeah.
fixed time test?
Yeah, we are planning to have a larger window so that problems like these don't arise, right? So there will be a larger window and we'll communicate the same through email.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ojas, next. Could we please unmute Ojas? Yeah, Ojas, you can speak.
Yes, hello, good morning. So I actually had a doubt about the modules that you talked about, like the nano fabrication, AI, and robotics. I wanted to know what is the maximum number of modules that we can apply for in the program?
Right. I'll leave Kishore to answer this question. Kishore, could you please answer?
Yes. Before that, or just can you just confirm your class? Are you 10?
I'm currently in 8th. During the program, I will be in 9th.
Okay. So for the 9th and 10th standard students, we are actually offering a list of workshops that covers all these kind of topics. So you'll be able to choose based on the credits that we are offering. So based on your, you can even plan what all courses you want to select, and we will share that list with you. Once you confirm those courses, I mean, including this AI and robotics and all that, you'll be able to attend it based on your schedule. That depends on the credits also.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And 10 students, we won't be giving this project modules. We will be giving workshop kind of things for these topics.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right. Next up, we have Harshit. Yeah, Harshit, you may speak.
Hi, good morning. I'm Arshit's father.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Arshit already attended this program, not a full program, but attend this selective program, and then he's in waiting list, but luckily he didn't get that through.
Okay.
Any specific criteria you are changed this year, or the same the exam criteria, or you are applying? What is the
So for selection, you mean, right?
Yes, selection criteria.
Yeah.
And other.
So we have one new component actually. So of course there's application process that you need to submit. Then we have the aptitude test, but now we are also planning to have online interviews of students after they are shortlisted from the entrance test. So that is the new layer that we have added for the next year. So rest remains the same.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add one thing there. This year's exam will be a little bit different from last year's one.
Yeah.
Last year, we were purely focusing on logical reasoning and analytical skills of the student, but this time it will be more, it will be covering more about the social intelligence, scientific inquisitiveness of the student. All these areas will be touched, so it will be quite different from last year's exam. So you can ask your child to attend it again.
Yeah. With that, I would also want to mention that we are hosting another webinar, which will be about the entrance test, the aptitude test. The webinar will be on 25th November, and I would request Urvashi to paste the webinar registration link in the chat box. So everyone who might be interested to know more about the entrance test can join the webinar on the 25th of November. It will be at the same time, 11 a.m. So you could all join that. So we'll just paste that link as well in the chat box.
And then one more thing is last year it's limited to 100. Now I think 180 out of that 50 for the last year selected people were what basis? They're not be clear on this.
So we have 50 people who we are expecting to come back from the last cohort, and the rest 130 will be the new entrants.
New entrants.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, we have Sarah. Yeah, you may speak.
Hi.
Hi.
Currently, my daughter is in 9th grade. So actually, now by the time she'll be attending that program, she'll be in 10th grade. And her classes and all, they'll be clashing because they generally have holidays in the month of May, that is 1st to 31st. And then their school also resumes from 5th of June. The academic year starts. So for that, and the program is 4 weeks. So can it be, can we attend for 2 weeks or so, or you have to attend for the entire 1 month?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is my first question.
Yeah, we
Because
expect this.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was saying
And
we
my
expect
second
the
question
student
is,
to, I'll just answer the first part. We expect the
yeah, sure.
students to stay for the entire duration. They will not be allowed to, get out of the campus that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so in that case, can she join a virtual program which is from September to April?
So that is only reserved for the students. Till this point, that is only reserved for the students who get selected for the.
Manvendra, just an update. So we are actually changing that plan a little bit. So we are trying to include students who applied for the course and have not joined, not got through the selection. So they will be given a chance, probably.
Okay.
And just to add on the query for you, ma'am, that students have their schools and everything. So we do had certain students from last year who had their schools, but they take permission from their schools and they attended their schools online. So there were some students also who managed to do this. So if your child is interested and wanted to participate in the program, they just have to take a permission from their school, and if school give them a permission to attend 2 weeks virtually and do all their works virtually, so they can participate in the program that way also.
Okay. And my second question is, if at all she attends post her 10th exam, that is board exams in 25-26.
Yeah.
So
yeah, please.
But then she'll be an ex-student of Lodha school. So in that case, is she still eligible for that? Because 25 April she'll be giving, March, April she'll be giving her exam, and this program will be in the month of May.
Yes, ma'am, she will be eligible because that time she'll be in 11th, I think. So once she'll be
Correct. She's just entering 11th and cleared 10th.
Yeah. So she'll be eligible because the eligibility criteria window is from 9th to 12th. So she'll be eligible in 2025 as well.
But actually, this link and this program I got to know through our school. My daughter is in Lodha, so I got to know. But in this case, now that she'll pass Lodha school, so will that link be still applicable for me, or I can directly go to your website and I can register? How it will be?
It's for the obviously, ma'am, the program is not just for the students who are from Lodha schools. It is for everyone. So if your daughter get into another school also, she can participate as well for the 2025 cohort, when we'll start with the next after 2024 cohort commences. After that, when we'll start for 2025 application, she can apply.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No worries, ma'am.
Hi. So next up we have, I think Poonam had raised their hand, but now they haven't. So we could take up some questions from the chat. What date is the test? 8th December. Time we'll communicate. I will be changing my school next year. Will I be still applicable for this program? Yes. Kishore, if I'm not wrong, they'll be able to change that information, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What is the process to select the students for the program? I think we have already mentioned there will be an application form that is live till 30th November. Then you need to take a test, an aptitude test, which is on 8th December. And then you'll be shortlisted. Then you will be welcome for an interview online, and then you get through. So that is the process. What will be our logistical arrangement, as in by rail or by air? So it will depend on the distance, of course. I think if you are coming from Delhi NCR, you would not require that much. Like you would, bus would be fine. But if you're coming from far, yeah, rail, train, or by air, we can do that. Yeah, as I already said, if I change your question is, if I change my school next year, will I be applicable? Yes, you are. You can change that information on our portal. I think we have answered how can we join the program. Will our selection be completely dependent on the mystery of previous 2 years mark sheet? No, it's not dependent on the mark sheet at all. Which all sports will be included in the program? There are plenty of sports to choose from. You are free to choose whatever you'd like, which is present at the campus. Okay. Hi, I'm in 10th grade and would be in 11 during the duration of the program. So with all the students having this problem around mark sheets, we would request you to just, whichever class you are in from 9 to 12, just fill in, upload the mark sheet from the latest, 2 last class mark sheets present. So you can upload that. That's not a problem. Kishore, there's a question which says, how many science modules can 11 to 12th grade returning students can take?
Returning students mean
Yeah,
last year's
coming. Yeah.
Okay. So for last year students, we'll be offering one capstone project if they are opting science group, and if they are opting mathematics group, they'll be able to do the mathematics bit of it. I mean the problem solving.
All right.
Last year it was 2 projects simultaneously on the on-campus module. They were allowed to take that, but this year it will be like 1 project. Every student will be provided with 1 project based on their.
Somebody also had a question on light touch, Kishore. So they're asking, can you elaborate a bit on it, and if it's a separate program or a compulsory continuation of the Lodha Genius program?
The light touch modules are not really compulsory, but it's kind of a support that we are offering to the students of, the selected students for LGP. And this year we are even opening that to every applicants of Lodha Genius program, so that they will be able to explore and they will something about, their interests in science and mathematics and other related fields. Also, they will be given this on, mentorship from these eminent faculties. So that is what we are offering, and it's not really compulsory, but we would advise students to join and attend that, because that will really give them the benefits in terms of, because of this mentorship.
All right, thank you. This is next question from a 2023 cohort student. So when will the 2023 cohort students be inquired about the next year visit? We were told, okay. So you will all be contacted by the end of this month. Everyone will be contacted, and we will ask your, availability, your motivation to come back on these calls. So please wait till the end of this month. You all will be contacted. Okay. This was answered. Yeah, the exam is online. Yeah, the aptitude test is one of the criteria for your selection. So for test, I would request you all to attend the next webinar, which will be on 25th. The link to register for the webinar is in the chat box. So please register, or please copy the link so that you can register later. Is there any communication support from the students to the parents when they are doing on-campus program? Kishore, so of course you're allowed to bring your gadgets, your devices. And Kishore, could you answer that?
So sorry, I missed that question.
Is there any communication support? So if a child
I
doesn't have
can
a phone,
take that up actually.
Yep.
So I was a TA for the last cohort, and if there were a couple of students who did not have their own phones, so the TAs assigned to them would lend them their phones if they needed to talk to talk to their parents. So I think we will continue that.
Right. All right. So TAs are basically teaching assistants who were there on campus, and they are assigned to each group of students. So yeah, there will be a continuous communication that will take place. So there's not a problem in that. There is a provision of indoor sports, yes. There are extra activities like music, dance, and arts, of course. Yes. To apply for the application, you need to go to the Lodha Genius Programme website. I think, can we paste the link of the website as well on the chat box? So you need to click on the Apply Now button, and it will take you to the portal. I think we have answered several questions from here, and I think it's 12, so we can wrap up. We have pasted the website link as well. So please go to the website if you would like to apply for the program. There are several days left, so there's enough time to apply. And if you have any queries, please feel free to write at Lodha. I'll also paste the email ID where you have any queries, etc. Urvashi, can you please do it, because I'm not, yeah, thank you so much. So this is the email ID. If you have any queries related to the form, to any questions related about the structure of the program, please email us. We'll be happy to answer. And yeah, and also please follow us on our social media handles. We are pretty active there. We are there on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. and YouTube. Also, if you want to check out the last webinars, we have done 5 of them. So if you want to check out those webinars, you can go to our YouTube link. It is easily accessible. On YouTube, you just have to type Lodha Genius Programme. So you'll get the channel. So I think we can wrap up. Thank you so much for joining in.
Just
Yeah.
one thing, like if any of the applicants are facing any challenges while applying, copy me when they are raising the ticket or.
Could you please mention your email ID?
I'll just mention my email ID.
Yeah.
So that we can directly check and fix it.
If any applicant has a specific application related, query or doubt or any problem they are facing, please copy Kishore in that email as well. We'll just put it in the chat box. Yeah, so this is the email ID. Please copy it as well. Any application related problem, you can send an email here as well. Yeah. All right. I think we can wrap up. We'll see you in the next webinar on the 25th, same time, same place. Kishore, you have anything to say?
Sorry, just that, I mean, my chat was just going through the host and panelist.
Yeah. I saw that. Yes, please.
Urvashi, can you just paste that email address to everyone?
Yeah, sure. I'm just doing it. 1 second. Huh?
Yeah, it's now pasted on your chat box. The time of the webinar is 11 a.m. All right, next Saturday. Yeah. Switching schools is not a problem. You can always correct it later. So that should not be a problem. Please don't stop because you're switching schools. That's not a problem. I hope everyone has pasted the email ID by now. We'll close the session now. Thank you so much for joining.